Ha.
Anna?
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can.
Deadpool and Spider-Man, often regarded as two of Marvel's most iconic characters. Deadpool, an assassin for hire, sometimes known as Wade Wilson, but the comic books are a little bit sketchy about his name and his origin. What's generally accepted is he's one of the X-Men, and he has the superpowers of being able to heal himself and break the fourth wall, making him one of the craziest superheroes of all time. And Spider-Man, a teenage boy by the name of Peter Parker, who was bitten by a radioactive spider and gained Spidey powers, being able to walk up walls and shoot webs and sense things with his Spidey senses. And he uses these powers to fight crime, villains like the Green Goblin and Doc Ock. These two superheroes are, in my opinion, the greatest superheroes of all time. And yes, I do think that Spider-Man and Deadpool have more interesting characters than Batman and Superman. I mean, Batman is basically just James Bond in a bat costume, and Superman is just a little too flamboyant, a little too colorful for me. But I do think that Spider-Man and Deadpool are the more interesting characters, and on this episode, I decided to see which one was the better, and judging by three criterias: their costumes, their powers, and their characters. It's time for verses. The costume maketh the superhero. And I've always thought that a lot of superheroes' costumes are unrealistic. Like with Thor, he has that long cape, and I figure that could get stuck on stuff, and Captain America's mask is really not much of a disguise, it's really a thin slab across the eyes. But Spider-Man and Deadpool, in my opinion, have very realistic costumes. Their whole identity is hidden. It's kind of, I guess it would be a little uncomfortable, but other than that, I think they're really cool costumes. And the winner here is clear. Spider-Man's costume came out before Deadpool's, and let's face it, Deadpool's costume is basically a ripoff of Spider-Man's. Not only that, but Spider-Man's is more interesting. There's all those lines and the bright color. I don't even know how you draw that. I remember when I was a kid, I tried to draw Spider-Man's costume, and it just ended up looking like a mummy. So Spider-Man is the clear winner here. Sorry, Deadpool. I hate to admit this, but there's a clear winner to this one too. And don't get me wrong, Deadpool does have some interesting superpowers. I mean, he can heal himself, he can break the fourth wall, he can teleport. I think his powers are kind of inconsistent in the comics. But who doesn't want to be a human/spider? I mean, you can shoot webs, you're climbing up walls, you got your Spidey senses, and you all know how much I love spiders and how much I, to be honest, would love to have those abilities. And Deadpool's powers are just much more standard. We've seen superheroes that can heal themselves. If it makes you all feel any better, I do think Deadpool might have a chance in beating Spider-Man in a fight. I mean, what's Spider-Man supposed to do? He can just heal himself from any attack that he makes. But as far as who has the more interesting superpowers, it's Spider-Man. So, there's no question at this point that Deadpool has lost. But can he at least leave with dignity? That's what this final category is about. And I believe that he can. I do think Deadpool has the more interesting character. Now, in Spider-Man's defenses, this one was close. Spider-Man is way more interesting, in my opinion, than Superman and Batman. I mean, don't get me wrong, Superman and Batman are good characters, but they're pretty plain. Batman's just this dark, grungy character, and Superman's this all pure hero. But Spider-Man, he's just all over the place. At one second he's super smart, the next second he's funny, the next second he's sort of shy and stammering, he's a teenager, he's just everything. He's such an awesome character to me. And, why is he doing all of this stuff? Why is he stopping all of these crimes and fighting these villains? According to him, it's not to revenge Uncle Ben or to revenge his mother and father. He's just doing it out of the purity of his heart. Or, if you're some comic book fans, because he was molested as a child and this is his way of fighting back. It's kind of a dark story. I won't go into that. But yeah, I do think Spider-Man has a great character, but let's face it, Deadpool is all over the place too. I mean, one second he might be chopping off someone's head, the next episode he might be in My Little Pony. I really wouldn't be that surprised if Deadpool was in My Little Pony at some point. I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen him there before this. And I don't watch My Little Pony, in case you all were thinking that. And also, he just breaks the fourth wall, which is cool in and of itself. So, yes, Deadpool is the more interesting character, but this one was close, and that makes Spider-Man the clear winner.
Here comes the Spider-Man.
And I wanted to end off by saying that I am really underdressed for this episode. I'm sorry, it was just sort of a lazy Friday, to be honest. But I also wanted to end off by saying that if any of you all have an opinion about what the next verses should be, please let me know. You know, I was thinking of something like cats versus dogs, maybe. I don't know, that sounds kind of boring to me, but it's a possibility. But if any of you all have a suggestion, your opinions are always valued. And it doesn't have to be a versus. It could be a top 5 list. It could be a in defense episode. Whatever you want. A sketch episode. I don't care. I just want to always show you all your opinions are valued. And chances are, if you leave it in the comments, I'll probably do it. I'm not going to lie. But I just want to end off by saying, think big, think Spidey. It's not copying you, right, Steve Jobs? You're not going to get mad in heaven?